95. Between local lines. Notes from the Emirate.
Notes from the Emirate, indeed. Welcome back on the program. We're asking you on the text lines 4215 to share your lockdown memories. It was a year ago that the National Disinfection Program began. We started producing our radio show from our homes.
Yeah.
We had to make use of the microphones that were given to us. We had to practice what to do. We had to make sure that we were connecting well on the Zoom calls. We needed to make sure that things were, if we had any interview clips that we wanted to play with you guys on air, they were done properly. It was crazy back then, wasn't it?
It was. It was a totally new experience. Yeah.
If you've got any lockdown memories, let us know on the text lines 4215. There were two things.
It was so surreal, though, and you felt like, this was not going to go on for a long time. It was probably going to be like a month. And then later on, they said, I remember the management, they said, this might go until September.
Until September,
That was the biggest
concern,
shock.
wasn't it? But I think when the disinfection program began, it was on 24th of March, and they said it's going to be for this weekend, and then we're going to go back to normal. So we had the curfew timings of 8 p.m., and we're all in our homes, and then suddenly they said, okay, you know what, this curfew timings are going to remain for 2 weeks. Dubai, on the other hand, said, let's do it for 24 hours for 2 weeks. And we saw the hype and the vibe around the COVID-19 situation to be quite intense. And it is still intense in some other countries. We're quite lucky and fortunate that in end of July, we were back to getting our life back to normal here in the United Arab Emirates, largely due to the efforts of the government, efforts of the healthcare system, efforts of ourselves, and to where we are in the scenario where we have Al Husn being our national registry for the vaccine, and we're talking about 50%. Over 50% of those eligible for the vaccine have been vaccinated here in the country. But two things that really spring to my mind about the lockdown memories is making that banana bread. That was the biggest trend.
Banana bread?
Yeah. Do you remember making that?
I do.
The banana bread that people were making. Which lockdown memory is Rania living in? The banana bread. There was a trend.
The famous banana bread.
And then it?
Yeah. And then what's that?
Alzheimer's is kicking in.
Oh, no. And what was that coffee? Is it Delgado coffee that people were making? Or what's it called? Where it's like an ice cream as well. The name has completely slipped my mind. I'm pretty sure the team at Afternoon Karak would be springing at that.
Yeah.
What were you on about? This is what it was called. But yeah, people were making all sorts of things at their homes.
Let's try to delete 2020 out of our memories. Maybe
I think that's what happened.
Why.
You just deleted it.
Yeah. It was a social media trend. Banana cake or banana bread. And then we had this, the coffee. And so much was going on. But coming back to this reality now, 1 year on, government has said that the vaccines available in the United Arab Emirates are effective against all mutations.
Yeah, they're saying this is very important to accelerate the pace of recovery and control of COVID. And they're saying that despite the confirmation of the spread of mutated strains worldwide, many studies have proven the effectiveness of vaccines in providing the necessary protection against them. And even authorities, they're urging residents to get vaccinated against the virus, as the more people are vaccinated, the less chances will be there for the virus to multiply and grow and spread from one person to another. Basically, residents were asked to get vaccinated as the national campaign for vaccination against COVID-19 continues, and it's now much easier. It's for everyone now, and plus it's for 16 and above. So just take an appointment. I think we have to take an appointment in the same day. You can get vaccinated nowadays.
Yeah, and the thing about mutations for COVID-19 is they are happening always. Viruses are always evolving. The process is different, and the result is usually much less severe if you're vaccinated. So the fact that someone's vaccinated has a concrete impact, scientists say, on the drive and growth of these mutations as well. So people are recommended to get their vaccinations as soon as possible to slow the overall transmission of the virus and the rate that it mutates as well. Another announcement is the National Emergency Crisis and Disaster Management Authority saying that Al Husn app, which is the official digital platform for coronavirus testing here in the UAE, has been updated to become the National COVID-19 Vaccine Registry, which means that the app contains all data and information related to vaccine doses that have been administered and doses that are available at various vaccination centers across the country.
And so that's the plan so far. So a great initiative indeed, and we're really looking forward to the celebrations here in the United Arab Emirates to see that how well we have been able to tackle the pandemic and how well we've been getting back to living our normal lives and living with the COVID-19. So this is a great achievement in the country indeed. Well, time now for us to take a breather. We shall return right after the sports headlines, in fact. Up next, we'll talk about more vaccines. AstraZeneca, an update has emerged after the US Health Agency has had a look at it, and we'll continue the discussions here on the Morning Majlis. Stay tuned to Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
The Morning Majlis, talking the stories that are shaping headlines. This is Pulse 95.
Morning, everybody. Welcome back to the program. And we're talking about the AstraZeneca vaccine. Now, yesterday, we relayed the announcement that the AstraZeneca shot, which is widely seen as the workhorse of global vaccine rollouts, with many countries betting largely on it and seen as an indispensable and affordable vaccine option. We reported that it achieved nearly 80% efficacy in an American clinical trial, which was met with relief by the many countries relying on it. But that campaign had once again been thrown off the rails, at least for the moment. For AstraZeneca, it was another episode of its ongoing public relations whiplash. Recently, for instance, a drove of European countries temporarily suspended the shot following reports of blood clots, one that reportedly permanently affected the image of AstraZeneca in Europe and public confidence as well. Well, now we have another problem as part of the recent miscues of the AstraZeneca vaccine. So here's what's going on. American health officials said that AstraZeneca's account of the U.S. trial findings has not been entirely accurate. They also posited that AstraZeneca used only the most favorable of data to generate apparently spectacular efficacy results. So this throws another wrench into AstraZeneca's plans and its reputation as well.
Yeah, actually, in a statement issued soon after midnight yesterday morning, or Tuesday morning, the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease said it had been informed about the data questions by the Data and Safety Monitoring Board auditing the trial. And DSMBs consist of independent medical experts who review data produced from clinical trials. And according to NIAID, they said that we urge the company to work with the DSMB to review the efficacy data and also ensure the most accurate, up-to-date efficacy data to be made public as quickly as possible. And also in an interview yesterday with STAT, Anthony Fauci, the head of the NIAID, said the DSMB raised concerns because it felt the results in an AstraZeneca press release Monday looked more favorable than more recent data from the vaccine study that it had shown. He even said, I was kind of sort of stunned. The Data and Safety Monitoring Board were concerned about the data that went into the press release by AZ was not the most accurate and up-to-date data, and that is what the DSMB communicated to AstraZeneca in a rather harsh note. So having seen that letter, we could not just let it go unanswered. And when asked why NIAID released its unusual statement, Fauci said, we just felt we could not remain silent, because if we did remain silent, we could be understandably accused of covering something up, and we definitely didn't want to be in that position. So he said, in my mind, it's an unforced error by the company.
The recent study now says it's 79% effective, according to the US study that was a review of the AstraZeneca vaccine. But interesting thing is, it was last year the vaccine was also believed that it would never be licensed in the US because it did face criticism over the results and methods used in its phase 3 vaccine trials. But now, with the 79% efficacy rates, the people down in America or up in America, as they say, that it does give them a little bit of confidence. And after the European drug regulator had declared it safe, Germany, France, Italy, and Spain are among the EU countries have resumed the vaccine drive of the AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine. But the big question here is, after going through and after listening to so many news developments, would people feel comfortable going ahead with it?
Well, it's definitely been under scrutiny, a lot of scrutiny most recently, especially after European countries paused their rollout last week over the safety concerns tied to blood clots, obviously. But the European Medicines Agency kept saying that the vaccine, like over and over again, they're saying the vaccine's benefits, they definitely outweighed its risks, and the campaigns restarted, basically. But based on the trial data released on Monday, AstraZeneca said the study identified no new safety concerns, and a specific review found no risk of blood clots either. But the study also did not see a specific type of clot in blood vessels near the brain that the EMA said might be associated with the vaccine. However, this type of clot, called a cerebral venous sinus thrombosis, is so rare it might not be expected to occur in even a large clinical trial. According to this, the NIAID statement on Tuesday only cited DSMB concerns about efficacy data and did not mention any safety issues.
It's just a lot of problems for AstraZeneca, though, because this U.S. clinical trial was highly anticipated. Health officials from around the world were eyeing it. Why? Because A, it was the largest of its kind for the AstraZeneca shot. So it was expected to provide the cleanest, most accurate, and complete picture of the efficacy of this vaccine. Also, in previous trials conducted elsewhere around the world, they didn't have a good representation of older people. So in order to gauge the vaccine's efficacy with an older population, they were relying on results from this trial in the United States. But now the results are shown to be, or what health officials are saying, is that the results are inaccurate. So now, I'm pretty sure this is going to hurt the public's confidence in the AstraZeneca shot. And also, what health officials around the world must be scratching their heads at what to do now. If you look at what the people on the ground think, the public, the ordinary person, in France, Germany, Italy, and Spain, they conducted polls. More people now believe that the AstraZeneca shot is unsafe than safe. So the public confidence is at an all-time low. And if you look at the stock, while some countries have administered more than 70% of their doses, others are struggling to get them off the shelves. So if you go to Germany and France, they've only given roughly half of their AstraZeneca supplies. If you go to Luxembourg, they've only administered only a third. And now we're about to start seeing a public dust-up between medical health experts from the United States and AstraZeneca, who are caught up in yet another PR disaster.
Some people might think, they'll be like, there's so many other vaccines out there. Why are we so concerned with the AstraZeneca one? If there are so many concerns surrounding it, they just should let it go. But this vaccine is so significant because it is so economic, let's say, or less expensive than other COVID-19 vaccines. And it's definitely easier to manufacture and distribute.
As well.
Absolutely. And it's easier to manufacture and distribute than some others or the other vaccines. And it's being really used not just in Europe, but increasingly used widely in Asia. So, it's kind of sad to know that it's not that safe to be using.
Exactly. Well, Stay with us in the Morning Majlis. We shall keep you posted about the developments across the world. And up next, we'll be discussing what's happening over in Germany, because they've now extended their lockdown, and we'll certainly keep you posted about what's going to happen. And another big news that has emerged, in fact, is that Tesla is now going to see a new rival. A Chinese car brand has launched a rival brand for Tesla. So what's going on? All of this will be discussed right here on the Morning Majlis. So do stay tuned to Pulse 95. And of course, we're welcoming your thoughts and memories from your lockdown memories on the text lines 4215. Do get involved and share with us your time at home when you were doing the work from home and also quarantining during the National Disinfection Program. Stay with us. This is the Morning Majlis on Pulse 95.
This is Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
It's the Morning Majlis. It's the Morning Majlis.
Well, we are talking about the state of real estate here in the Emirate of Sharjah, because Aleph Group, the leading real estate development company in the Emirates, has announced the start of the construction work on Phase 3 in its project of Al-Mamsha, with a total value of more than 213 million dirhams. And this development includes 612 residential units spread over 6 buildings that offer a mix of unique studios, 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms, and 3 bedroom apartments. Now, Aleph Group stated that the start of construction work for Al-Mamsha Phase 3, well, it follows the increase in sales achieved in the previous 2 phases. And this success definitely highlights the increased demand for residential units in a strategic and vital area that really sets the heartbeat and also defines the pulse of Sharjah.
That's right. I see what you did there.
Oh, yeah.
It's really, really, I'm very, very excited about Al-Mamsha. It's going to be a mixed-use development where living meets retail and leisure experiences as well, and it's all part of creating a vibrant community. What's really cool about Al-Mamsha is it's a fully walkable community where visitors and residents can access the entirety of it conveniently on foot at all times. So plenty of sidewalks, walkways, greenery, and open spaces as well. It's going to be a marvelous development for us here in the Emirate of Sharjah as well.
Yeah, we've seen the construction picking up pace as well. Now, in Phase 3, it is going to extend over 818,634 square feet. It's going to be providing residential units overlooking places such as the swimming pools, open spaces, children's play areas. And the Phase 3 will host 1,852 square meters of retail space. And that is going to be something very exciting. But looking at the projects as a whole, we've got the Al Jada being developed there. We've seen the Azahia community springing up quite well. We've seen the shopping mall doing really well with a very high footfall, especially on weekends, and the Moelah commercial area benefiting from this sudden surge of investment interest as well. Aleph Group is also quite well known for their 06 mall that was constructed in the Juraina area, so really goes to show how this new part of Sharjah, or identified as the new Sharjah, is developing at quite a rapid pace as well. So a very exciting future to look forward to, and really, really welcome and a big addition to the real estate mix here in the Emirate of Sharjah. Well, stay with us on the Morning Majlis. We'll continue the discussions on the program. Up next is going to be all things you need to know about the fight against the COVID-19 here in the United Arab Emirates, the Al Husn app being your official vaccine registry. And then we've also got a bit of a reminder of on the 24th of March was the day that we saw the National Disinfection Program begin. So a look back at a year ago and how far we have come. All of this will be discussed right here on the Morning Majlis.
If you liked this episode of the Morning Majlis, drop a like and subscribe.
95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.
Pulse